You've seen it. You're scrolling through Amazon or you're at a Best Buy and you see that little gold square on the box. It's that high-res audio sticker. And for most of us, our brain immediately does this thing where it goes, okay, gold sticker equals better. This is the premium stuff. This is the one I should buy. But I've got to be honest with you. I've spent the last 10 years of my life obsessing over gear, and that little gold sticker might be one of the most confusing and sometimes misleading things in the entire world of tech. It's like when a food box says it's all natural. What does that even mean? It sounds good, but is it actually doing anything for you? Or are you just paying an extra $50 for a piece of foil stuck to the packaging? Look, I love great audio. I love that feeling when a song hits so clean it gives you chills. But today, we're gonna peel back the layers on this. We're gonna talk about what that certification actually requires, why your Bluetooth headphones might be lying to you, and most importantly, if your human ears can even tell the difference. Because if you're chasing a sound that you literally cannot hear, you're just throwing money into a black hole. So let's get into the weeds and figure out if high-res is a revolution or just a really good marketing trick. The numbers, the part that gets technical. All right, stick with me here. We need to talk about some numbers. I know, math is boring. But if you don't understand these two things, the rest of this won't make any sense. When you see high res, you usually see two numbers, something like 24-bit and 96 kilohertz. Think of audio like a movie. A movie is just a bunch of still photos played really fast, right? If you take enough photos per second, your brain thinks it's seeing smooth movement. Audio works the exact same way. The first number, that kilohertz number, is the sample rate. That's basically how many snapshots of the sound the computer takes every single second. A standard CD takes about 44,100 snapshots a second. High res, it takes 96,000 or even 192,000 snapshots. On paper, that sounds amazing. More snapshots equals more detail, right? The second number is the bit depth. This is basically how much information is in each snapshot. It's like the dynamic range. It's the difference between the quietest whisper and the loudest explosion. Standard audio is 16-bit. High res is usually 24-bit. Now, here is where it gets interesting. The Japan Audio Society, they're the ones who actually own that little gold sticker. They say that to get the high-res badge, a piece of gear has to be able to handle at least 24-bit audio and a sample rate of 96 kilohertz. But here's the thing, just because a pair of headphones can play those numbers doesn't mean the actual speakers inside are good. You could have the cheapest, muddiest sounding headphones in the world, but if the internal chip can process those numbers, they get the sticker. It's like putting a Ferrari engine inside a lawnmower. Sure, the engine is fast, but you're still sitting on a lawnmower. You're not going 200 miles an hour. The Bluetooth bottleneck. So let's talk about the biggest lie in audio right now. You go out and you buy a pair of flagship Bluetooth earbuds. They have the gold sticker on the box. You're excited. You think you're about to hear music the way the artist intended. But here's the problem. Bluetooth is basically a tiny, narrow straw, and high-res audio is like a giant bucket of water. You cannot fit that bucket of water through that straw. It's physically impossible. So what does your phone do? It squeezes the water. It compresses the audio. It throws away a bunch of the data just so it can fit through the Bluetooth connection. And by the time it reaches your ears, it isn't true high-res anymore. It's a lossy version of it. Now, you might have heard of things like LDAC or aptX lossless. These are special codecs that try to make the straw wider. They're the best we have right now, and they sound great. Honestly, they perform really well. But even with LDAC, you're still not getting the full, uncompressed, 100% original file. If you really want to hear high-res, you have to use a wire. You need a physical connection, and since most phones don't have headphone jacks anymore, that means you need a DAC, a DAC, a digital to analog converter. So, to actually use that gold sticker you paid for, you need the high-res file, a wired connection, and a separate piece of hardware to plug into your phone. Starting to feel like a lot of work, isn't it? Can you actually hear it? Okay, let's get real for a second. This is the part that usually gets me in trouble with the audiophile crowd. There's a massive debate about whether the human ear can even hear the difference between a high-quality CD file and a high-res file. See, the human ear, at its absolute best, can hear up to about 20 kilohertz. That's it. That's our limit. And as we get older, that number drops. If you've spent your life going to loud concerts or using power tools, you might only be hearing up to 14 or 15 kilohertz. So why does high-res audio go up to 40, 50, or even 96 kilohertz? The argument is that even if you can't hear those ultra-high frequencies, you can feel them, that they add air or texture to the music. But in almost every double-blind study ever done, most people, even professionals, cannot consistently tell the difference between a standard 16-bit file and a 24-bit high-res file. What people are actually hearing when they say, wow, this sounds better, is usually just a better master of the song. See, when a studio releases a high-res version of an album, they usually take a lot more care with it. They don't make it as loud. They keep more of the dynamics. They treat it with respect. If you took that same high-quality studio master and you put it on a regular CD, it would still sound incredible. The high-res label is often just a signal that says, hey, we didn't ruin this song with too much compression in the studio. And that's valuable. audio. I'll pay for that. But it's not the numbers that are making it sound better, it's the care that went into the recording. The marketing trap. Look, I know what you're thinking. If it's mostly marketing, why does every company do it? Because it works. We live in a world where bigger numbers always win. 4K is better than 1080p. 120 Hz is better than 60 Hz. So 192 kHz must be better than 44, right? Companies know that most people aren't going to go home and do a double-blind test. They know you're going to see that gold sticker, feel a little bit of premium pride, and that's going to influence how you hear the music. It's the placebo effect, and it is strong. Plus, and this is the cynical part, the Japan Audio Society charges companies a fee to use that logo. It's a business. It's an ecosystem. And get this, there are different types of high-res labels now. You've got high-res audio wireless, and then you've got things like MQA, Master Quality Authenticated. It's an absolute mess for the average person to navigate. It's reached a point where seeing the logo doesn't actually tell me if the product is good, it just tells me the company was willing to pay the licensing fee. I've heard $50 wired earbuds with the high-res sticker that sounded like absolute garbage. Muddy bass, piercing treble, just zero soul. And I've heard $300 headphones with no sticker that sounded like a religious experience. So, is it worth your money? Here's the thing. If you're building a home setup, if you've got a dedicated room with high-end speakers and a massive DAC, and you're sitting there in a quiet room with a glass of scotch, yeah, go for the high-res stuff. Why not? You want the best possible source for your gear. But for 95% of people, for the people listening on the subway or at the gym or while they're working, you do not need to stress about the gold sticker. What you should care about is the tuning. Does the company have a good track record for sound? Do they use high-quality materials? Is the app good? Does it have a good equalizer? These things will change your listening experience way more than a 96 kHz sample rate ever will. Think of it like buying a car. You don't buy a car just because the speedometer says it can go 200 miles an hour. You care about how it handles. You care about the seats. You care about the gas mileage. The high-res sticker is just the speedometer. It tells you what the engine is capable of, but it doesn't tell you how the ride actually feels. The real advantage of high-res. Now, I don't want to sound like a total hater. There's one real actual advantage to high-res audio that nobody talks about. It's called Headroom. When you're editing a photo, you want a RAW file, not a JPEG. A JPEG is finished. If you try to change the colors too much, the photo falls apart. But a RAW file has all that extra data. You can push it, you can pull it, you can fix the shadows. High-res audio is like a RAW photo. If you like to use an EQ, if you like to tweak the bass and the treble in your app, having a high-res file gives your software more data to work with. It prevents distortion when you're pushing those sliders. So if you're a tweaker, if you're someone who loves to customize your sound, then yes, high-res is actually useful for you. It keeps the signal clean while you're messing with it. But if you just press play and listen, that advantage kind of disappears. What you should actually do. If you want the best possible sound without falling for the marketing traps, here's my advice. First, stop listening to music on YouTube. I know, it's ironic, I'm a YouTuber, but YouTube audio is compressed to hell. It's fine for watching a review, but for listening to your favorite album, it's not great. Switch to something like Apple Music or Tidal or Amazon Music. They all offer lossless audio as part of their basic subscription now. You don't even have to pay extra for it anymore. Once you have a good source, look for gear that fits your lifestyle. If you want convenience, get a pair of earbuds with LDAC. They sound amazing. You'll be happy. If you want the soul of the music, get a decent pair of open-back wired headphones and a small portable DAC like the FIO or something from AudioQuest. Forget the gold sticker. Look for reviews that talk about the sound stage. Look for people who talk about instrument separation. Look for things that describe how the music feels. Because at the end of the day, music is an emotional experience. It's not a data transfer. I've had moments where I was moved to tears by a song playing on a crappy car radio. And I've had moments where I was bored to death by a perfect high-res $1,000 setup. The tech should serve the music, not the other way around. The final verdict. So, what have we learned? Certified high-res audio is a technical standard. It means the gear can handle a lot of data. It means it meets a specific baseline for hardware. But it is not a guarantee of quality. It's a license to play, not a trophy for winning. Don't let a missing sticker stop you from buying a great pair of headphones. And don't let a gold sticker trick you into buying a mediocre pair. Trust your ears, not the box. If you put a pair of headphones on and they make you want to dance or they make you want to close your eyes and ignore the world, then they're the right headphones for you, whether they're high-res or not. And hey, if you already have a high-res setup that you love, that's awesome. Stick with it. If it makes the experience better for you, that's all that matters. Just don't feel like you have to upgrade every time a new gold sticker comes out. So I'm curious, can you hear the difference? Have you ever done one of those online tests where they play a CD file and high-res file side by side? I want to hear about your experience down in the comments. Did you pass, or were you just guessing like the rest of us? Also, if you're looking for gear that actually delivers on its promises, check out some of our other reviews here on the channel. We test everything with our actual ears, not just a spec sheet. Would you like me to do a deep dive into the best DACs for beginners so you can actually start using those high-res files properly? Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to Headphones Pro Review for more honest talk about audio tech. See you in the next one.